Okay, I've got a couple minutes after. I'll call the meeting to order. Roll call and determination of quorum.
Okay. Turner? Here. Lael? Here. Washburn's here. Kinsey?
Here.
Baker is not. Okay. Quorum.
All right. We have our airport manager, Greg Murray, city manager, Joe Dunham, Mayor Arden Chafee, and KLB, Mr. Lynn Martin. Okay. I would entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Okay. Turner?
Yes.
Lael?
Yes.
Washburn, yes. Kinsey?
Yes.
This time, do you have a city council, any news?
No, not pertaining to out here.
Okay. Greg, did you get the manager's report?
Yes, sir. Thanks, Terry. I think sales were good last month. A total of $12,421.10. It does look lower than the month of December because fuel price on the avgas went down to $3.90 instead of $5.20. You can tell we sold more avgas, but we sold less jet fuel than December. Kind of explain the difference. I still feel like it was a pretty good month. So a lot of oil too. Got some news on the instrument approach for 1836. I was in touch with Mike Lynn from the FAA last Thursday, and he stated that he's received information that the procedure is moving forward, and the publication date is still on track for August 20th of 2015. He also let me know that we need to have the restriping and the relighting of the runway and taxiway will need to be done before the publication date. And I'm currently searching for contractors that can do this work properly. I will be attending the conference next month, so I won't be at that meeting. And I know they have a lot of exhibitors there.
I can't hardly hear you.
I know they have a lot of exhibitors there, so I'm hoping to make contact with them, but in the meantime, I'm still going to be doing some searching.
Oh, great.
So we can get this taken care of before August.
I mean, this is to restripe and relay for what?
For the instrument approach for 1836 and.
I mean, to eliminate the dual runway?
Right.
Right.
So the
So we have to
1735 will have to be
eliminated
striped as a taxiway.
before they will do the.
Well, before the publication date.
Okay.
But
They want it done, so when the publication date comes, everything's good.
But we have to wait until after they've approved the new runway, right? The new approach. That was,
He told me that it needed to be done before the publication date.
but if we do it before they approve it, couldn't that cause problems?
What happens if they don't approve it?
I guess it's,
That's true. My thought was.
I mean, I don't want to think negatively here.
Yeah,
But, I mean,
right, but it's always a possibility.
My understanding was that we needed to wait until after it was published for that reason, in
Mhm.
case they didn't approve it. But he told me it needs to be done before the publication.
But surely we'll know that it's approved before the publication. I mean, that's just, that's the way I would think, but I haven't talked to him. We may want to call and ask him.
Maybe I need to ask him if it's been approved already.
I bet they would have let us know. But yeah, we probably need to ask, and if not, ask when we think it will be approved.
I think you're right, I'll bet.
Because we need a window there between when it's approved to get that done before it's published.
because this isn't going to be cheap.
Yeah, yeah, you don't want to
Wasn't
do it.
wasn't there like $100,000?
You get $78,000 set back for it right now.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't going to be a cheap task.
You certainly don't want to do it and then not have an instrument approved.
So how I should word this to ask him.
I'm just asking how we'll be notified when the
Will
new
it
runway's
be
approved,
approved
new approach is approved.
before?
When they, publication date, what does that mean? That this is up and running as a instrument approach? Is that what that means? They're gonna publish it as an instrument approach?
Right.
When they publish it, that means it's approved. So that means at some point prior to that, it has to be approved.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
And they're going to revoke the instrument approach for the old runway concurrently.
Okay.
We just need to know,
So
we would
you're
like
right
to
that
know.
there should be a
approximately.
point there which, because the government doesn't do something on a dime, I don't think, as far as
Yeah.
approve something one day, then print it the next.
Yeah.
There's got to be a, I would think, a 60 or 90-day
What-
lag there.
What would be nice to know is if they have an approximate date that they expect to approve it, so we know what our time frame for getting it restriped is and lighted.
Which I would think that they might be looking at maybe even early as April or May for.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get my little sheet out here that has a step-by-step.
Evidently, it's gonna be approved if it hasn't been already, or he surely wouldn't say that. So it'd be interesting to know when he anticipates that's gonna occur.
Hopefully.
Well, he was saying he expected it to approve, the published date was August. So evidently it's,
Maybe they've done their flyover.
they've done everything except their, and then it will be published in the August publications of whenever we need to have stripings done before it was published.
So it could be
I
approved
mean, and he
already.
may tell you it's already approved, and that would be.
Doesn't show what I was looking for. It looks like the flight check is about 45, that's 100 days before. Doesn't say publication date.
There's a flight check.
3-ish months.
That's when they come and they,
See, they do a pre-flight check.
in May.
Well, this is just an example.
Right.
You can tell this is.
Oh, I see.
But we've got to the flight check before and not passed, right? Because they were
Yeah,
back.
because that's when the coordinates were off.
That's what I thought. I mean, so it's possible.
And
that
that's
could
why
happen.
Yeah,
jammed
then
up
they
the
had
whole
to come
thing.
back and resurvey it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what we don't want to run into, is if there was another problem, and we've already done away with the old runway.
I'll get some more information on
Okay.
that.
But it doesn't hurt to be locating somebody who can do the restriping and
Right.
lighting in the meantime.
Yeah, I would work on the assumption that it's going to get approved.
That's what I've been going
Yeah.
with. Because he told me they're still on track.
Okay.
Anyone have any?
The only thing that scares me is their new fiscal year begins October 1st. And so they generally run out of money in August, so and everything slows down. So hopefully that doesn't have to affect this.
Yeah.
Well, I got a call from Ron Sanders today, but I was out, I think, somewhere, and I tried to call him back, and I haven't been able to get hold of him back yet. So. Anything else on that? Okay. I know it was brought up last board meeting about changing the meeting time. And I checked into that. I downloaded a copy of the Open Meeting Act. And I was able to find out that the time can be changed by me notifying the city clerk at least 10 days in advance. But it doesn't say anything about changing the time for the full year. So I know we have to give the notice to the newspaper in December.
Right, I think they publish it for the whole year in December, every month.
Yeah.
Every end of the year.
Is it the dates, is it the time
And I
also?
think you can change it month by month until you publish again for a whole year. Because I think that's what I see school boards doing.
So if you wanted to change it every month, I would have to give a notice. every month. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I can do that
Seems,
if you guys want to have it at 6.
I think we might as well, if nobody's opposed. So, I don't think you were here. Do you have any time conflict for that?
As the weather gets warmer, my days get longer.
Okay.
Generally, my evenings are more open than my days.
Okay.
I don't care either way.
I'm the same way.
I think if you have to do it every month, that'd be kind of a,
Yeah, it's
That'd
a
be
bit
kind of a
inconvenient, yeah. So we just want to leave it the way it is for now, and then maybe bring
We
it
can
up
look
next
at it during for the
November,
next year.
December.
that's what I would suggest.
That sounds reasonable.
Also, last month I got some information that the computer in the pilot's lounge is not working like it should. And this has been an ongoing problem for some time. And I talked a little bit with Tim Nelson, who's the IT guy for the city. And he told me that these computers were used when the airport got them. And I've been here going on 3 years, so I don't really know how old they are, but I do believe it's probably time to replace them. Most businesses replace them every 5 years because of upgrades and everything else. And I got a couple of quotes, but it's above my manager's discretionary funds. The one to replace the computer in the pilot's lounge was quoted at $656.09.
Is that shipped and everything?
Beg pardon?
Is that shipping and everything?
I believe so.
Okay.
It just has zero tax, zero shipping.
Okay.
The quote he gave me to replace the one at my desk has to have, I need to have Microsoft Office on it. So it's a little more expensive. It's $1,192.20. It is a little bit faster, can do more computers. You guys are welcome to look at this to see what all it is. But I would need the board's approval to spend that much.
I guess the city has a contract with, buying contract with,
That's
or
where.
an agreement with Dell or something.
We buy our computers from there. I mean, it's, and that dollar amount is well within the, you know, I know Greg says his manager's discretionary, but, with the purchase ordinance that we passed not too long ago, and he had the ability to purchase up to,
I believe it's 15,000.
15,000. I mean, we're only, I mean, as long as it's in his budget, and he can afford to, and it's with, but, you know, it's a budgetary expense. And, I mean, you're talking about $2,200 there, and as long as he can live with that within his budget, I'd say, yeah, that would be a purchase that he could make.
Well, I think we need to do it.
There's no, I've never used the one on the pilot's lounge, but it's just got internet access and stuff basically, right? I mean, there's no
It's pretty slow.
software, but, I mean, as far as what is there for people to use, it's just they can
Doing
go
flight
use.
planning, I mean, checking weather sites.
But I mean, there's no software, right? It's all, they just go to an internet site. if they-
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's no, like, office.
I was just making sure we weren't gonna also need a $300 piece of software or something.
It's just a basic computer to get on the internet and flight planning while checking.
Here's what operating system I would propose. 8 and 8.1 and 7.
8.1, DVD OS recovery.
So that's better than 8?
Yeah.
I'd heard a lot of bad stuff about 8, but.
8.1, they sort of, what 8 should have been.
Okay.
I heard they were giving free updates to Windows 10 when
I
it
think
comes
that
out.
in April, Windows 10 will be available, but it's a free update for a year. So, that's good. At this time, Microsoft was giving a free year's worth of updates.
Yeah, I heard it's way better,
Yeah, faster.
a lot more glitch-free, easier to operate.
But we've been, I tried it 8.1, a couple of months ago with the paper, and was very pleased with the speed increase and the fewer crashes. So I've now upgraded about half of our computers to it. And I've tested 10, and it's not quite mature enough to make an opinion on it.
We've had issues at the dealership with all of the software, the specialty software. They won't make it available for 8. So even new computers, we've had to buy with 7 on them because they've had problems with 8. So
Yeah, if you got any old DOS programs, you're in trouble.
These aren't DOS programs, but they're, I don't know, for some reason they said it gets real glitchy in 8, so they didn't want us to move to that. They were hoping for an update, so maybe the 8.1 or 10 is what they're waiting for. That's why I was asking you. 'Cause
Yeah,
I'm
the
not
biggest
sure.
problem with 8 is we have joked, they must have had a real fun time, the designers. Where can we hide this command? Now, where can we hide that command? I mean, they hid everything. 8.1, they brought back what was called the start menu that most of us are familiar with. And you hit down there and it pops up all the programs. And the 8.1's give you both, so they sort of have both interfaces on 8.1, which makes us old timers real happy, and the young whippersnappers happy too,
And, as far as the purchasing of it, Dell's, it's off a state contract. I'm sure
That's what I was wondering, I didn't.
Yeah, I'm sure that's where Tim got that information, is off of a state contract, or, so,
Do you have,
there's several computers that are listed on state contract.
have you, where you take this out of your budget?
And 15,000 is the limit that we would have for purchasing.
Well, it would be property and maintenance, we're not going to do new property.
No, this is February, March, April, May, June. You got 4 months left. Spread, what,
Got enough.
$10,000.
Got it out there.
And
I just got this. It's got my-
$5,000 in contingency funds sitting out there. There's,
We get 9,000 in your property maintenance.
Yeah, and there's some travel funds that I probably, this convention, I may have one more meeting after that.
But I have no problems getting the computers. Now, that's monitors and computers. How's your printer?
This printer's working fine.
Oh, that's working fine. Okay. Will it interface with this stuff?
I would hope so.
should,
I don't know why I wouldn't. I don't know how old this printer is.
It's probably as old as the computers.
I think so.
I would venture a guess that these computers are getting about 8, 9 years old.
We need a motion.
It's not on the
This
agenda.
now we can't, if everybody, unless
We don't need it.
someone has an objection, I'll go ahead and get them.
How does-
I just wanted
On
to.
his discretionary fund, I think he can just do it. We don't have to.
Okay.
He's just asking to make sure there's no problem.
Okay.
Spend that couple $1,000, I don't want to do that with it.
Yeah.
Well, you get a lot of pilots in here, and I think we need something that doesn't aggravate the tar out of them, as long as we don't have kids or people coming here playing with it and screwing it up, and then you need one to conduct the business of the airport, so
I think,
I
yeah,
think
I'm
that's
for it.
essential. so.
And it would be a disaster if that
Yep.
computer crashed.
And sometimes that can be a tiebreaker whether they come in here or come in someplace else.
I understand.
Okay. I'll go ahead and get them. Just The only other thing I have is just want to let you know I got a couple more loads of rock for the equipment shed. Got it spread out. I'll probably wait a few months, and let this get packed down good, and get a couple more loads in there.
Any comments or questions? Okay, we'll go to item 7. Shane Bohr requests to expand the racetrack on the fairgrounds.
He's not here, so I can kind of tell you what's going on. Damon Starks called me. He's on the board, and I'm not sure who all is on the board for that, the go-kart track, and was saying they were asking the fairgrounds about expanding the go-kart track, and it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 feet. And I said, I'm not really sure how that pertains to us. They asked us if they could sublease that, but we didn't really approve like a square footage or anything, to the best of my knowledge. And he went back to them and said, apparently the fairgrounds board is relatively new, and they were uncomfortable without us saying it was okay first. And so I asked Bob to put it on the agenda because they asked that. So they're not asking to add any space that they don't already have leased, but they're wanting to add space to what they allocate to that sublease for the go-kart track. So that makes sense.
They're wanting to add
They're wanting to-
footage that the fairgrounds already has.
Correct. They're giving up some of their space. It's not supposed to. And I didn't go out there and look at it, so but what I asked, I
They've
said,
already expanded.
that's
I know a
possible.
couple of weeks ago when I was out there riding, they were out there doing dirt work and had a grader out there, and it looks like they've expanded the go-kart track or racetrack out into about half of where the horse track used to be.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's very possible. Because when I talked to
Unless
them,
they
I
were
said,
talking about going further one way or another. Looked to me like they had already kind of expanded that.
okay.
Just somebody.
As a casual
Somebody out
observer.
there, yeah, just somebody out there riding around.
I passed by, I saw them doing something too, and I wondered if they weren't started. But
Yeah.
when they had talked to me, they said the fairgrounds wouldn't give them approval until we gave approval. And I said, well, I don't think that's particularly a problem if you're not asking for more space, but, I'll ask it to be put on the agenda.
I mean, the only thing I will say about the leases is that right now, and it's kind of in limbo because of a lot of other discussions that are had right now. All of our leases with the Fair Board are up for renewal. Now, I haven't prepared anything to bring back to y'all, the Airport Board or the Fair Board, either one yet, to see how some of these other discussions kind of play out and what we really want to be doing. But the 50-year lease on the ground was up. After the research that I've done last week was up in 2012, actually. And then the one on the racetrack was up at least a year ago. So
On the go-kart racetrack? Or
well,
Horse
you got
racetrack.
two leases out there. One was for the grounds for the Fair Board, and then they added to it years afterwards where the racetrack was with
The horse
30 acres of racetrack.
Okay.
And then that didn't have anything to do with. I mean, the go-karts are well within that 30 acres. So I mean, we don't have a lease with the go-kart people. They just evidently
Right.
sublease that from
The fair.
the fair board.
Any further discussion or questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve or disapprove.
I'd make a motion to tell the fairgrounds board that we don't have a problem with them expanding the lease on their previously leased property. We don't mind them subleasing more of it.
Second it.
Okay. Been moved and seconded. We vote.
Turner,
Yes.
Lael,
Yes.
Washburn, yes. Kinsey.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Item 8, remarks and inquiries by airport board members.
How is Garver doing on their project? Have you had any updates from them?
I have not had any updates from them in a while. I think that the design is well underway. We're waiting on the approval from the FAA for the second phase, the construction phase. And if I recall right, that will be part of next fiscal year, the fiscal 15-16, our fiscal 15-16 budget.
Right, that project.
Right, the construction portion of it.
Okay.
As far as I know, the design portion of it is
Finished.
finished, yeah.
Okay.
99%.
So this payment to Garver here, $6,300, that was the last payment for the design phase?
I'd have to go back and look for sure to see
Okay.
if that was the final payment on that. Just to see where we were at on the contract.
Have we received reimbursement from the FAA on that project?
I don't know, I know we've applied, we've sent in all of our reimbursements, we've sent in like 4 or 5, and I'm not sure whether or not that's actually been, I'd have to go back and double check to see if we've gotten any of that yet.
Okay.
Because normally I don't get a report on that when that comes in, because it's direct deposited into our account.
I didn't know if that was being paid and reimbursed out of the airport ledger side, or if that was being done out of the city side.
Right now, it's been done a little bit out of both.
Okay.
The reimbursement may have, I'd have to double check that to be for sure.
Okay.
Because we're not seeing it here, obviously, on these income statements, but that may have been hitting on the other side, on the city side, and I just have to go back and double check. But
Okay.
we've obviously paid for some of it out of the airport side.
Okay.
How's Dale Logston's building doing?
Pardon me?
How's Dale Logston's building doing? Is it done?
Yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
I've heard no complaints.
Good.
Yes, seems to be doing good. I will move on to item 9, remarks and inquiries by citizens or guests. Mr. Mayor?
Business as usual.
Mr. Dunham?
I have nothing to
Mr. Martin?
add or nothing.
I do have one thing.
Okay.
I thought you were gonna skip this, so that's why.
Do what?
I thought you were gonna skip this. That's why I can't remember. Budget time is coming up, so we're starting to work on the budget for next month. And I was just curious if anyone had any major maintenance items they would like to see accomplished this year, like last year we insulated the maintenance building. Previously, we
I have
sealed the
one.
roof on our
I'd like to see a French drain put in on the south shore hangars on the west side.
A what?
A French drain.
Oh, okay.
On Italian or German or French?
Whatever works.
Is there, I guess at this point, there's no indication as to if in the next fiscal year we do that ramp construction, we're able to get the grant from the FAA and do that, as to what part of that fiscal year that would be accomplished in.
I'm going to venture to guess it would be toward the latter
Part of the year.
part of the year.
So
I
winter,
mean, I don't
spring.
have any indication right now either way,
Understand.
but it just, I would expect funding towards that towards the end of next
Fiscal year.
Yeah.
The reason I ask that is that if we have indications, as Bob brought up last time, we're building a hangar, we need to think about the allocations and capital expenditures toward that.
Right.
And he brought up last time that we need to start thinking about, the type of hangar, the size or where. I was surprised there was anything on the agenda this time about that. But there should be discussions at this point, it may seem early, to be relevant for the budget input, to be proactive rather than reactive.
Right.
To make sure that when the budget comes through here and goes down to the city for approval, that we're more on top of it, rather than just kind of guessing.
And I've done a little bit of work with Bob about, the size of the hangar and shape of it. And everything. I mean, I brought the list that he asked me to bring about the dimensions for different type of vehicle.
Right. Well, what the demand is.
Preliminary. I didn't know if there were any capital purchases, like last year we purchased a tractor, something like that.
Maybe, we bought a snow blade, didn't snow, maybe we should buy an irrigation system and it'll last.
That's very good thinking.
You get enough pilots.
I think
out there, maybe some of you have to go out there and seed the
I
clouds.
think if we bought an irrigation, we bought the snow blade and it had snowed hardly. I've used it one time, it worked great for that.
But that's the only reason I was asking that, was
Yeah.
thinking, if there was, how that could work in the next fiscal year if we were to build, because obviously we're being beneficiaries of natural resources that would allow us to do things that we didn't think conceivable before. So-
Yeah, and I mean, like the construction here, we've got $250,000 now set aside for the construction of T hangars, or hangars. If that is not done this year or started this year, anything that's not expended this year on that, we certainly need to carry over toward the first part of next year to get that done. But the way the funding seems to be hitting on that, and the way they start, and the way they're approving those projects, I just don't expect the construction part of that until the latter part of next year.
How about the
I could be
grass?
surprised, but I mean,
Understand.
FAA's surprised me in the past.
I haven't looked at the timeline on the grass runway. Would that be coming up?
That's after the ramp construction, is the grass runway.
Any other comments? If not, we stand adjourned.